This tutorial introduces you to the structure of the human heart. If you like what you see on our channel, please like, subscribe and turn on notifications. The circulatory system, also known as cardiovascular system, consists of the heart, blood vessels and blood which is circulated throughout the body. Let us start with the human heart. The human heart is one of the most important organs responsible for sustaining life. The heart is a muscular organ that pumps blood throughout the body through rhythmic contraction and relaxation, supplying all organs with oxygen and other vital nutrients. It also carries carbon dioxide and other waste products away for disposal. The heart in adult humans is about the size of a closed fist. It is located between the lungs in the thoracic cavity and points slightly towards the left. Now let us understand the internal structure of the human heart. The heart is protected by a double-walled membranous covering called pericardium. It contains a lubricating pericardial fluid which reduces friction during heartbeats and protects it from mechanical injuries. The heart is divided into a right side which contains deoxygenated blood, that is, it lacks oxygen, and a left side which contains oxygenated blood, that is, it contains oxygen. The two sides are separated by a muscular wall called the septum that prevents the mixing of oxygenated and the deoxygenated blood. The heart has four chambers: the right atrium, the right ventricle, the left atrium and the left ventricle. The upper two chambers are atria. Each one is called an atrium. The atria are called the receiving chambers as they receive blood from the different parts of the body. They have thin muscular walls. Do you know why atria have thin walls? Well, atria supply blood to the ventricles which lie very close to it. This blood has a much lower pressure. Hence, atria have thin walls. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the different parts of the body through the two veins, the superior vena cava, which brings in blood from the upper parts of the body, that is, head, chest and arms, and the inferior vena cava, which brings in blood from the lower parts of the body, that is, the abdomen and the parts of the body from hip to toe, while the left atrium receives blood from the lungs through the pulmonary veins. The two chambers below the atrium are called the ventricles, the right ventricle and the left ventricle. The ventricles are the distribution chambers. Deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle flows through the pulmonary artery into the lungs for oxygenation. Oxygenated blood from the left ventricle flows through the largest artery called the aorta to the different parts of the body. Ventricles have thick muscular walls. Why thick? This is because the walls need more muscle tissue to generate enough pressure so as to pump blood out of the heart and distribute it to the entire body. Now, there is also a difference in the thickness of the walls of the right and the left ventricles. The right ventricle pumps blood to the lungs, which are very close to the heart. The left ventricle, however, pumps blood all around the body, that is, at a greater distance, which require much more pressure as compared to the right ventricle. Therefore, the wall of the left ventricle is thicker than that of the right ventricle. Ever wondered why the heart sounds the way it does? These sounds are described as lub-dub, which is produced due to the shutting of the valves on the blood. Valves are fibrous flaps of tissue allowing the blood to flow in only one direction and prevents the backflow of the blood. In total, there are 4 valves: tricuspid valve, bicuspid or mitral valve, pulmonary valve and aortic valve. The tricuspid valve, which have 3 flap-like structures or cusps, hence the name, guards the opening between the right atrium and the right ventricle, while the bicuspid or mitral valve, having 2 flaps or cusps, guards the opening between the left atrium and the left ventricle. Together, they are called atrioventricular valves. The leaflets of these atrioventricular valves are connected to fibrous tissues called chordae tendineae that hold the valves in position and prevent their overturning into the atria. The pulmonary valve guards the opening between the right ventricle and pulmonary artery, while the aortic valve guards the opening between the left ventricle and aorta. Together, they are called semilunar valves. So, this was the structure of the heart. Now, how does the heart pump blood throughout the body? Stay tuned as we understand the working of the heart in our next tutorial.